I think I'm going to start by talking about sort of how I got here. Um, I've got, as of today, exactly 11 months left before I retire. And for some reason, um, people seem to find it interesting that I came to this place. And, I started out teaching school, did that for a couple of years, came to a nonprofit because I wanted to move back to Fayetteville and had no experience. I was actually 26 years old and became an executive director at a nonprofit, which was very small. Fortunately for me, I got to grow. I got to start with something very small and grow with it. I was at that place for 13 years and learned a lot. Obviously not enough, but I started with just one other employee and about 6 or 7 people that we supported. And we actually rented 2 rooms of a church and had to move out on Friday and move back in on Monday. And over the course of 13 years, I increased the program significantly. We had, when I left there, we had a building that we had paid for. We had 150 people or so coming every day. But one of the things that I did that made that happen was I started a sheltered workshop. The program did not obviously have that when it was very small. So I started it from scratch, which I guess I won't say that I regret it. I know that it's not the right way to do business. It's not the right way to do things. But at the time, in 1977, we had no other options. We had nothing else going on. And so I started a sheltered workshop, and I did that for 13 years. And over that period of time, it just became really clear to me that that was not the right way to support people. And I always sort of joke about it, but it's sort of true. I had this Damascus Road experience. I realized this is not the right way to support people. And even though the program that I ran, we were very serious about helping people get jobs. We had a job placement officer on staff, which of course is not paid for by anybody. We had to raise money to do that. But I began to see that it was not, that the model really didn't work. We made it work, but it didn't work. And so overall, the model is flawed. So Pam, in 1988, Pam and 4 moms of children who had very young children who had significant disabilities started a program called Family Support Services, and they got a small grant to offer some small amount of cash assistance to those families. And the key thing about the program was that it allowed families to be in charge, to direct their own services, to be in charge of what they needed. And Pam, very quickly after they started, she called and asked me if I would come and be her boss, because she said, I love doing the work. I love working with families, but I don't like the administrative things. The program was so new, and I knew so little about it at that time that I declined. But I did agree to serve on their board of directors. So I did that for a couple of years, and the next time the opportunity came around and Pam called and said, would you come to work for us? I did, and have been with ASN ever since. And I have to tell you, those of you who work for us, those of you who know about the work that we do, we have tried really hard over the past, all those years, since 1988, 1989, we've tried really hard to have everything we do be in that same mindset of families are in charge. The people that we support are in charge of their services. We're here to facilitate, to provide assistance, but we're not the boss. And I think that we now are up to like 800 or 850 people on staff at our peak times, and we support 1,500 to 1,700 people every year. But I really believe that we have been able to maintain that whole mindset of it's not about us, it's about the people we support, and we try really hard to provide what families want. And I'm really when I think back into 1978, 79, when I was getting started, and then in 1988, when Family Support Services started, I remember one of the very large and traditional providers from South Arkansas called me one day in my office and said, "Keith, we need your help. You're located in Rogers. There's a small new program over in Bentonville, and we need to shut them down." And I said, "Well, what are they doing wrong?" Because honestly, I hadn't heard of anything they did wrong. And they said, "Well, they're over there telling families that they can have what they want." And I said, "Well, I don't really know much about the program. I don't know exactly what they do, but I know Pam Bijou. I've known her for a long time." And I said, "That just doesn't sound so crazy to me." And she said to me, as though I were a child, "Keith, that's not how it works. I'm the professional. I tell my families what they want." And those were the exact words. I remember them to this day. And she is still, the person who told me that is still at some level working in Southeast Arkansas. And I just remember how antagonistic they were, how much they were against the idea of families being in charge of services. And so I even from the very first, I never saw that as being a crazy idea. So when I got the chance to come to work for ASN, it really was like it was a lease on life for me. And I just thank my lucky stars that I got to come here and work. And those of you who have done it for a long time know we really do try to put people first.